First of all, I would like to really welcome you, Guido. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I know you have a lot going on. So before we get started, it would be great if you could quickly introduce yourself and tell me what's been going on in your business ventures.
Hey, Alessandro, thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure. We don't know each other that much, but it's a pleasure to have the time talking to you right now. And thanks for the invite. Thanks for giving me space to talk with you. I'm curious what road we're gonna take for the next minutes. So to talk about myself is not always an easy thing to do, or maybe not always an easy thing to understand for people, because I consider myself a creator and a maker. Mm-hmm. So I have different skills with which I've tried to survive. So I'm involved in three business ventures, so to say. One is Kasheme. This is how we made relation. I mean, you and myself. I'm part owner and partner of Kasheme, which is a music living room. For me, this is a project, a matter of heart, because I'm a DJ since more than 20 years, and I'm a record collector. And Nick, which is our manager, took me on board, and I'm happy to be part of this super cool journey, because it means a lot to me. I'm there. I'm working there as a partner. I'm not operationally sort of like involved, but I'm there as a partner, as a mentor, or as a DJ. The other thing is where I'm involved. I also part own 50-50 with my partner Mark, a company which is called Suki. Suki means in Japanese I love, I like. And it's it's like a creative consultancy. We do help decision makers to prototype the future. So we are his fellows in the phase of inspiration. So this is what we do. We have our own creative workshop here where I'm currently sitting at Geroldstrasse. So there I'm somehow the creative mind behind this, and my friend Mark is also somehow he is the host, the facilitator, and also the true manager, of this company. Mm-hmm. And the third thing is my own company, which at the moment is more a fiscal sort of like vessel for me to somehow do my accountings and stuff like this. And this company is called A Joyful Noise. And a joyful noise is something like really individual, and it stands for the result of all what I'm doing as a DJ, as a coach, as a creative director, as a show director, because I also show direct and show produce events and stuff. This is a certain skill. So when all of my work goes well, at the end, people will make a joyful noise, whether they're going through difficult sort of like processes to find the purpose and stuff like this. They cheer, they laugh, they sing, they clap, So this is my company, and this company is my own vessel for the future, because I would like to find and found a creative retreat center.
What's part of this creative retreat center?
Creativity.
Okay, creativity in a sense of like learning how to be more creative, or what do you have like modules in mind that you're going to be proposing, or?
No, the thing is, your question is really interesting, because I tell you about my credo, what I do believe in. My biggest belief is that I do believe in the creative potential of every individual. And I believe in myself in that way, that I can create an environment with a place where people can come and where they are supported to find that creative potential. Mm-hmm. And if they find that creative potential, and if they get given the opportunity to connect with nature, then they are able to create something nice for their lives and also for the world. So more or less, it's an utopia, what I'm talking of right moment. But I think like this part of the creative potential that we have in us is that part of the so-called Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit that lies within every sort of like human or organic or thing that is alive.
Part of the soul.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. You know, I come from a design thinking background, so essentially, you know, creativity is a very important part, and you know, it's a topic that keeps coming up. And even people that are telling me I'm not a creative person, I strongly believe, kind of what you were saying earlier, that all of us have some creativity in us, and it's an essential part of being human and being, you know, and also even in a business sense, I think it has a very important place, and very often it kind of gets forgotten.
Absolutely. I think I always say, because creativity is my topic, I just love the topic itself. I like to work with people on that. I'm a creative myself, you know, but creativity is a mindset. It's not a skill. So it depends on, are you going to rely on your creativity or not? Or are you just going to rely on your intellect or not? You know, so I think it's just at the time you start to move towards finding and trusting this sort of like energy, then you're fine.
Absolutely.
Because you see it with kids. You give them a sandbox, and then they create castles. That's it. It's not more. To be honest, you know, at the end, that this is it. You know.
It's funny. It's funny that you say this. You know, I've in my design thinking and lean startup practice. Of course, you know, there's always this joke that, you know, innovators and design thinkers always work with Lego. And then I was like, you know what, screw it. Whenever I start a session, I actually apply some creativity tools. So very often I actually bring in Lego, even if it's only for 10, 15 minutes. And it's cool because I have seen grown-ups become children again, in a sense that they are really unlocking the creativity, and they're open to exploring in different ways, just because it takes them back to how they used to be, right? And
yeah. So, well, they still are this way, but they're not focusing on it. You know, that this is the way how I see it, and I just love to see that. And some people, they have maybe bigger obstacles to overcome to get to this place, because when you want to create, at the end, when you want to create something purposeful for your life, you need to make up your mind on why am I here? You know, what am I looking for? What do I stand for? What is the world I wish to see? So forth, you know. So that needs time. That needs also distance from daily routines, and maybe other people, community that supports you, and so forth. So it's a process. But this is what interests me, you know, for my future. So this is like how we say, the layout of my business ventures. And besides that all builds on my own venture, which is called My Life, where I try where every individual part is part of my attempt to live a happy life. But with light, there is also shadow. So it's not all like flower power. It's it also means to look at things, to suffer, to go through things, to develop, to also fail, but also to succeed. But at the end, I think life is a celebration. It should be a celebration. We should worship life and the time we get given on this planet to somehow take care about ourselves, and by that also take care about the whole thing, you know.
I could not agree more with you, and I think it's such an essential topic that you're bringing up. You know, we can talk for hours around failure. I'm a huge fan of the topic. I don't think it gets discussed enough, but maybe we can, you know, dive a little bit deeper into this, because now you're bringing up topics that are very relevant for today. So obviously, with the coronavirus, COVID-19. The changes that have impacted many small businesses, and you are running some extremely exciting ventures. So how has that impacted your business, and what are you planning on doing?
Well, immediately COVID has stepped into my life quite early. I think about 2 weeks before things even started to take shape in Switzerland with the canceling of events above 1,000 people, you know, because part of my business is being involved in events, and I work together with my business partner Mark. He has his own company, which is an events production company. So that topic, I was following the topic already before, towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, because I have really good instincts, and I thought like, how is this going to move, you know? And it moved closer to us, to Italy, and when it was in Italy, I knew that it's gonna hit us, so I was like very aware. But the topic was in our lives from after one weekend, you know, from one day to another, and it was shaking me up totally. You know, I felt like panic, fear, and I couldn't orient really for the moment, you know, how should you handle this? But we needed to take actions, because to talk with our clients, what are we doing with the events that were planned? There were like 7 events planned for the end of March and beginning of April. You know, actually yesterday would have been an event. That's totally gone. I just remember it by now. So that COVID, gratefully, I have to say, COVID brought those feelings like anger, fear, and Sorge. Can you help me with Sorge?
Some sort of maybe worry.
Worry, yeah. So worry, fear, and they just stepped into my life, and gratefully enough, I've never experienced those feelings so clearly before in my life. So at the very moment, it meant like to really react in a way, not to panic, but to just like focus, you know, reduce contacts, find solutions business-wise, set yourself and your family up in that way that you can survive, you know. So we did that within 10 days. It was all set up. I decided from one day to another to just walk every distance. Gratefully enough, I have Kasheme in my office here in my home, in each like 10 to 15 minutes walk time. I was calling up my nature doctor to look what he says. He said like, eat a lot of green stuff, raw food, sleep well, take your vitamins, take colloidal silver, strengthen your immune system, and also decided to meditate about those things in the morning and to do some yoga. So I instantly recognized it as a chance to now live in the inside world and do inside jobs where I can't live in the outside world that much.
Very powerful things that you're saying right now. Essentially, well, we are literally going inside, right? I mean, most of us have been indoors now. I've been indoors with my wife for 2.5 weeks now. I mean, except for, the occasional grocery shopping or maybe getting a little bit of fresh air. So, it's very interesting because to a certain degree, it's a time to go inward and reflect and also figure out, how is life going to move forward and what can we do next? And that is a huge part of that, I strongly believe, is taking care of yourself physically and mentally. And, there's a spiritual component or the meditation component that you brought up earlier, which I also very strongly believe in. I practice yoga every morning. And so there's definitely this meditative quality. And I think nutrition has a big part as well. I just yesterday interviewed a nutritionist on the topic as well, and she said something very similar to you as well. So I will of course share that also. But in the end, it's about, I strongly believe that we also are living in a time of huge opportunity and in a time of change. And change is also always triggered by huge impacts. And of course, Corona has had a huge impact on all of us globally. And so I feel that it's also really a time to refocus and restructure in many ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, whether we want it or not, I think like 13th of March, 2020, it was Friday the 13th. I think that was the day normal died, the normal that we used to know just died. Maybe in like 5 years to come, we look back, we can say like, look, Corona was maybe that time we have witnessed the arrival from the agent of change. And most of the time, if change happens, whether you like it or not, the first sort of like reaction towards this is shock, Then and from there it goes the way down, because you rationally got to understand what is this all about, until you're down at the bottom, the valley of tears, and from there it starts with emotional acceptance. You start to rise up again, you test new things, you find out, you adapt, and there is where we are now. I think as creative beings, we can rely on that creative sort of like skill to adapt immediately towards a new situation. Look how fast it all gone. Politically, stuff like this, it moved like very quick forward. And we did adjustments. We had to do adjustments in daily routines here. We need to close down Kasheme, we need to close down the bar. I lost event jobs, just without a switch. 2 months of salary just gone. And all you have to do is to accept it and to say to yourself, look, the solution doesn't lie behind me, it's up front somewhere, and I got to look for it. Like Native Americans say, if you don't like what you see, keep looking. So this is what we did, and happily enough, we are blessed with our company Suki. So we still have decision makers, especially that are in difficult situations at the moment, that look somehow the same way, that I think like now's the time to somehow recalibrate where we want to go in the future, or we have time now to think about those things, and we, business-wise, you may be not operating the same way with writing an offer and stuff like this. You just like say, look, oh, you want to go forward as well. We want to go forward as well. We want to work. Just let me know what it's worth to you. And we do a design to cost sort of like process, you know.
Mm.
Let's get a grip. Let's move.
Mm. What you're saying right now is so powerful, and it's great advice, I think, for all the small businesses and startups or businesses in general out there. It's about taking the opportunity and also working together. You know, it's interesting because you know, the question that I get asked quite a lot is like, so how do I make money in this time right now? And I always say, you know, there's always opportunity to make money, but of course right now it's a little bit more difficult. So if you have the opportunity and you have, you know, the strength to go out, you know, you should talk to people and see exactly like the way you are saying right now, how can you make things work? Because we're all sitting in the same boat. It's not easy for anybody, but there is still opportunity out there and there is still a need. And so sometimes you have to adapt. Maybe you will make more, maybe you will make less. But right now, it's a time to really make these connections stronger. I mean, look at the two of us. I'm not sure, maybe we would have never met, you know, and because of this whole interview series, now all of a sudden we're sitting in a room, we're having an interesting conversation about a lot of different things that we would probably never have had the time to do. Because let's face it, if you and I would have met in Kasheme, we would have probably been sitting there, it would have been music playing, we would have had a little bit of a conversation, but now you can have deeper conversations. And that's, I think, something that people can really benefit from.
Absolutely. I see it the same thing, you know. The whole situation deepened actually a lot of talking in my environment. You know, there is less noise, you know, there's less distraction, there is less, there's more space. You know, it has deepened a lot. And as I said, you know, I stated it that first it was totally shaking me up. And at a certain point, after like 2 weeks of like just like setting up things, arranging, and also look at the cash flow and stuff like this to create security, you know, to set the family up and stuff like this. Music was, for me, again, was the trigger point. You know, I was coming from a long, very successful clients meeting. I had to briefly go home. I had 20 minutes to pack records, and then I had to play a 2.5 hour set for Kasheme birthday. You know, I opened up the second birthday weekend. And as people told me, I've just nailed it, you know, and it felt great. And that was somehow the turning energy where my mind was like shutting off from those things, you know. And that weekend, I felt the urge to sit at a fire, to make a fire, and maybe also to pray a little bit with the fire, to also make a statement to the universe that I'm here and that I'm ready to take whatever it might take, you know. And then I came to the conclusion that if I want to live, I have to find ways to live with it. You know? There's no way around, because it's not going to move.
Absolutely.
You know? So that was I'm just stating the sort of like the tipping point, you know, where we're all shifted towards where I'm currently now. You know, I don't want to be cynical about things, you know. I don't think this is over, and a lot of people get hurt, people die, people are worried, people lose jobs, stuff like this, you know. I feel it myself, you know. I need to take actions to survive in that period, you know. But yeah, but at the end, a lot of that daily noise, by just like going to business lunches and sitting there and chit chat and going out and hang out there and going to a vernissage and all of that is just like gone. And I never felt more rooted than before. That's crazy.
It's interesting that you're saying this. My wife and I had a conversation about exactly this. You know, if you are the more I mean, I can only imagine, but I would say the more superficial your life was before the Corona situation, the harder you probably have it right now, because right now it's all about quality and it's all about, you know, coming back to the roots. And if you're heavily derooted, now is the time to find your roots and you know, come back a little bit more to the basics, whether you like it or not, but that's just how it is right now.
Yeah, imagine I have a son, you know, he's soon he's 6 years old. And at the time they decided to close kindergarten. I thought I didn't worry. I knew immediately because of that new mindset, you know, I knew like, that's Ace. I don't have meetings. He doesn't need to go to kindergarten. We can sleep in every morning. You know, we can sleep in every morning. That's a privilege, you know. There is no beep, 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 beep in the morning, nada, because nobody needs to go nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's great. So I feel somehow like I live a little bit like a monk at the moment, although I'm really open, you know, I'm exchanging a lot, but it for me it's good. For me it's good, and for my future, it gives me time or immediate indication what is really important for me. So that's why I stated it so clearly, that I would like to somehow bring that dream of a creative retreat into reality, because I'm taking it with me since a long time. Now through this coronavirus, this plan has become more important, you know, because I absolutely know that this is the right thing to do.
Absolutely. Very, very, very interesting and very powerful statements. You know, I didn't know your other business ventures. I mean, I heard about them, of course, but I only knew about, I knew about Kasheme, and I'm a big fan of the location and the work that you guys do. And, you know, I cannot wait to, you know, physically go there again and listen to your music. And anybody watching this interview, I can only highly recommend to go there. It's, I would say, one of the, or if not the best place to go listen to amazing music and have a really good time. It's a beautiful location. And, you know, from what you're telling me, Suki sounds like a really great venture as well. So for creativity. So you know, anybody watching this video, I highly encourage you guys to check it out and have a close look. And Guido, one last question, maybe a little bit on the fun side. What's the first thing that you're going to be doing once the Corona ban has lifted and we can roam the streets freely again?
Hard to answer, actually. I don't feel limited at the moment, because I don't feel limited at the moment. Because I can answer it and in a way of like, you just stated Kasheme, and I think this is where we made relation, and I think this is something I would like to share towards the end, you know. I keep on doing what I did before. Is people stand at the center point of my life. I want to support others by supporting myself as well, you know, so to contribute something good to the outside world, so that my existence makes more sense as well, you know. So at a certain time when we had to decide to close Kasheme, we decided to close it a day earlier before everything got shut down. And we said, like, what we are going to do, we keep on doing our live streams, you know, because music is the healing force of the universe. And this is what we can really give to people. You know, out of this, you know, every day, more or less every day, between like 5, 6, or 10 to 12, there is a live stream on www.kasheme.com/livestream, where we stream music to people so that you can relax at home to listen to music. And the newest project is a collaboration with Mix. It's called the website Cheers. Cheers to Support. So it's a website where you can order your drinks from your favorite bar. So there is like Kasheme involved, but also Couch, or Zukunft, or Acid, and stuff like this. So this is an idea that was developed with Suki, and I gave it to Fabian from Mix. And he is a maker, and he did it now, and it's alive. You can go and so you can go and order your drink from your favorite bar. It gets delivered by Friday, and you can go and link the live stream, and you have somehow the same experience. So when you ask me if I don't feel limited, I would encourage everyone to not stop giving, sharing, exploring, and developing life further as such.
That's a really beautiful and powerful statement. Thank you so much. I had to chuckle because, just yesterday I interviewed the CEO of WeCheer. They invented a bottle opener to, help bars monitor the bottles that are being opened. So, and you starting an initiative where, drinks can be delivered. So yeah, it really shows you how things come together. And I really appreciate the fact that you're taking the time and talking to me. And I really hope that we will get to meet in person very, very soon, and actually get to have a drink together and listen to some amazing music together and enjoy it.
I would look forward to, yeah.
Great.
We will. We will dance. At some point, we're going to dance again together,